In a perfect world, all car buyers would be opting for the top-spec variant. However, reality often dictates that we have to stick to our budget whenever we buy a car. Luckily, car makers such as Honda came out with a variant that slots in below the top-spec model without feeling as if it's been too stripped down. Right now, we have here the Honda CRV S Diesel 980, which comes in below the range-topping CRV SX all-wheel drive. And in this video, we're going to find out if this CRV S is the best value that you can get in the CRV lineup. Let's do this! Now, before we begin this video, I'd like to extend a special shout out and thank you to Honda Manila for giving me this opportunity to test drive and review this Honda CRV S Diesel 980. If you're in the vicinity of Honda Manila and you need a Honda, do pay them a visit and check them out. If you want to know who to talk to, check my description below just to see who's the guy. Now, when I shot my Honda CRV SX all-wheel drive video a few months back, I was quite impressed with its fit and finish, its performance, its overall complete package in a compact crossover. Now, if you're interested to see my video on the top-spec CRV SX all-wheel drive, you may also click above to see what it's all about. Now, the good thing about opting for this lower trim CRV S Diesel 980 is you get the same overall package as the SX all-wheel drive, except of course you lose the all-wheel drive, but then you get this for 270,000 pesos less. When it comes to the front fascia, it's the same look as the range-topping SX all-wheel drive. This Honda CRV S Diesel comes with the same lots of chrome look. As you can see, it has a tremendous amount of chrome in the front grille, which shows you Honda's penchant for a lot of chrome in their cars. It's further accentuated by the fact that this test unit is in color black, so you could really see the chrome standing out here in the front grille. Now, moving from that chromed out front grille, you get this nicely designed full LED array in terms of headlights, and it's the same headlights found in the top-spec variant SX all-wheel drive. You get your DRLs here, and you also get full LED fog lights here at the bottom. So you could see that in terms of lighting, Honda didn't scrimp much on this lower tier variant as against the top-spec model. So that's a good thing, and that should please a lot of CRV fans out there because they could save a little bit of dough and still get the same look with this CRV S Diesel model. Now, when you go over to the side, you will see that the CRV also has that same chrome treatment that can be found up front. But this is the same look as the range-topping CRV as well as the other CRV siblings. This S model gets this chrome strip right here at the bottom, which I'll take any time of the day over huge, black, ugly plastic claddings, which thankfully the CRV has kept that to a minimum. You don't get much here, but you do get a little bit of a big chunk of black plastic claddings here at the bottom, but thankfully that chrome strip has saved the day and has minimized it a little bit. You get power folding side mirrors with repeaters here, and for your wheels and tires, you get the same wheel size and design as the range-topping SX all-wheel drive. These are 18-inch wheels with Michelin Primacies that are size 235/60 R18s. Now, these tires are meant more for economy rather than performance, but for a compact crossover that would probably be driven by soccer moms, that's probably a good thing. Let's head over to the back. Now, when you go over to the rear of the CRV S, you get chrome, chrome, and more chrome. You get this chromed out center strip right here in the middle with your chromed out Honda emblem, as well as a tiny chrome strip here at the side of your rear bumper that's been thrown in for good measure. Now, luckily, you still get that beautiful LED taillights that are found in all CRV models. I love that about the CRV. And you get your rear camera here. And when you pop open your manual liftgate, yes, this is a manual liftgate. It's not the automatic liftgate found in the range-topping SX all-wheel drive. However, you still get the same trunk space here. You get 472 liters of trunk space as long as the third row seats are folded down. Now, if you need more space than that, you could always tumble down the second row seats and double that space. Now, I mentioned in my previous video that there's a fake floor in the CRV. Now, that apparently serves a function. As you could see here, the top floor has been already placed in the top receptacle, and by doing so, you now have a hidden cubby here that will serve to hide your valuables that you don't want prying eyes to see. Now, I also mentioned in my previous video that the spare tire can be found underneath the third row seats, and you have to be a Superman to get the third row seats out of the way because I couldn't do it. So apparently there was a technique, and thankfully, thank you to Honda Manila for teaching me this technique. Well, apparently you just have to get all those fake floorboards out of the way, and you go over to the right side of your third row seat. You have a yellow pull tag here, and when you pull that, you can now lift your third row out of the way and access your spare tire and your tools. Now to keep your third row in place, you just get the hook and hook it in place with a bar for your second row headrest. By doing that technique, you can now access your spare tire without being a Superman or even a Hulk. So you could do that quite easily. Now anyway guys, let's head over to the front of this car just to see what kind of engine powers this diesel baby. Now before I show you guys the engine, let me share with you a party trick that the CR-V can do that not a lot of people know about. See, some people are complaining that the 7-seater CR-V doesn't have a flat bottom trunk. Well, apparently you can have a flat bottom trunk by doing it this way. See, you get the third row out of the way and hook it up like there, and you see you have your spare tire exposed, but you get your fake floor here, and apparently this thing is shaped exactly to fit right there. And when you do that, you can now get the second fake floor here and install it right here. And all of a sudden, your 7-seater CR-V now has a flat bottom trunk, and you can haul all of the stuff that you need if that needs a flat bottom. So that's a pretty nifty thing. Not a lot of people know that. So let's head over to the engine right now. Now luckily, even if you're getting the lower variant CR-V S, the engine is still the same as a range-topping SX all-wheel drive variant. This is still the same 1.6-liter turbo diesel engine that's found in the top-spec SX all-wheel drive. It's good for 120 horsepower and 300 Newton meters of torque. Now, this engine is also mated to a 9-speed automatic transmission because all diesel CR-Vs in the Philippines come with a 9-speed automatic transmission. Only the 5-seater gas engine CR-V comes with a CVT transmission, so boo-hoo to that. Anyway, if you think that the 120 horsepower figures are nothing to write home about, always keep in mind that horsepower wins only in the spec sheet, while torque wins in actual street use. Now, let's head over inside just to see what kind of interior the CRV S Diesel has. Alright, when you get inside the CRV S interior, you would see that there are some notable differences between this and the top-spec SX all-wheel drive. The most noticeable difference is you don't get a panoramic sunroof. You see, the panoramic sunroof in the SX all-wheel drive adds a little bit more upscale class and feel to it. And for those of you who are thinking that, well, the panoramic sunroof is just a frivolity you could do without, trust me guys, when you don't have it here, well, it doesn't feel as upscale and as luxurious as the top-spec all-wheel drive. Now, the CRV S also has to make do with a manual driver's seat and passenger seat adjustments. You don't get the power seats that you get in the SX all-wheel drive, so it's not really a big deal. But in terms of overall design, fit and finish and quality, it's practically the same as the top-spec SX all-wheel drive. The CRV S also sports the same gorgeous steering wheel. You know, I love how Honda executes their steering wheels. They're just gorgeously designed. They have some of the best steering wheels in the business, and it's nicely wrapped in good quality leather, and you got these nice buttons here operating your Bluetooth calling and your infotainment system, and a volume control that you just have to finger it to get it up or to get it down, if you know what I mean. Now, when you go over to the instrument gauges, you get that same signature all-digital gauges that can be expected in a Honda model. You got your digital speedometer there, tack up top, and all the information that you need in your gauges. Now, moving from your instrument gauge, you get this 7-inch touchscreen display for your infotainment system, which honestly in today's time, 7 inches is kind of on the small side. I mean, come on Honda. We also don't get Apple CarPlay or even Android Auto here in our CRVs in the Philippines, so we could do better than that, Honda. Now, another thing about this, the execution of this 7-inch touchscreen is the real estate of the screen itself is huge. This could easily be a 10-inch screen, but because the volume control and the power knob, physical knob, occupies a big chunk of the space, it kind of minimizes on the actual usable screen, so there's that. Now, on top of that, you also don't get a 360-degree view camera. Instead, you get a reversing camera instead here. So that reversing camera is pretty decent. Nothing to write home about. It's really not fancy. I mean, it's pretty much standard nowadays. You also get your dual climate control system here for your air conditioning, and you get your shifterless shifting area here that the CRV is quite popular about. You get your buttons for your park, reverse, neutral, and drive and sport. You don't get an actual lever to do your shifting. It takes some getting used to, but since this is the second time I've reviewed the CR-V, I've already practically gotten used to it. You get your electronic parking brake button with a brake hold feature, an eco button as well, and a 12-volt charger, plus a ton of storage space right here in the middle of the center stack. Plus you get this big cubby here, and it also includes some charging ports for your USB, HDMI, and all that stuff. Now for your dashboard materials, you get some hard plastics here and there on the dashboard. You get some faux wood trim on the dashboard and on the door panels as well. Some people who are younger than me might find it a little bit off-putting, but I don't know, for me it's oddly growing on me. I kind of find it attractive, so that should already give you a hint on what my age is already. So you also get these gorgeous leather seats as well, and they're nicely designed, they're very well supported, and yeah, overall it's pretty much the typical CR-V interior that you've come to expect from CR-Vs. So let's get over to the back just to show you what the second row is all about. Alright, when you get in the back seat of the CR-V, it is as roomy and as comfortable as any compact crossover can get. The front seat is adjusted to somebody of my height. I'm 5'6", and as you can see, we got a ton of knee room and leg room right here, and headroom is pretty decent as well. You don't get a panoramic sunroof, but well, there's that. But then if you're gonna seat 3 of me across, it's gonna be very comfortable because the center well here is not that high, so you get some foot space there as well. In terms of toys, the CR-V gets a couple of tweeters here in the rear door panel, so that's an upscale touch. You also get a couple of AC vents here in the middle for cooling duties, and for charging duties, a couple of USB ports as well. Now, if there are only 2 passengers sitting at the back, you could put down the center armrest, and that grants you access to a couple of cup holders. Now, the seats are furnished in leather, and they could be adjusted forward or back just to give some knee room and leg room to the people in the third row. Those people who were unlucky enough to draw the short end of the stick. So we're not going to the back of the third row. We've already done that in the SX all-wheel drive video, but take my word for it, it's only meant for small kids or vertically challenged people who are smaller than me. Now, you do get some aircon vents at the back, you do get cup holders as well as safety belts, so you wouldn't really feel too sorry for yourself if you're at the third row of the CR-V. Now, enough of the third row, guys. If you're ready, let's go for a drive. Take the CR-V S out for a drive and see how it feels again on the road. Let's go. All right, so we're now behind the wheel of the CR-V S Diesel 980. Now, for those of you who are saying that you really don't need that panoramic sunroof, well, guys, I could already feel its absence right now. With this regular roof, it doesn't feel as airy, it doesn't feel as upscale. But guys, the driving dynamics of the CR-V S is pretty similar to the SX all-wheel drive. However, this feels a little bit more lighter and a little bit quicker off the line. That's probably because of the advantage of having a regular roof, plus the fact that this is a front-wheel drive CR-V. You get 97 kilos of weight savings over the top-spec SX all-wheel drive. So, lesser weight, better performance, better acceleration, and better fuel economy as well. Although, I don't think the fuel economy of the CR-V S will stray too far from that could be found in the SX all-wheel drive. The SX all-wheel drive diesel could do around 8.5 kilometers per liter, and I would feel that maybe this could do a 9, most likely. But that's for city driving, guys. Now, for highway driving, this could muster as much as 24 kilometers per liter, believe it or not. Now, that's a fuel economy figure that could be expected from a hybrid vehicle already. Pretty awesome. Now, aside from losing your panoramic sunroof and your all-wheel drive system, the CR-V S also loses, well, a bunch of safety features that were found in the top-spec CR-V SX all-wheel drive, particularly the Honda Sensing safety suite of features. You don't get it here. It's only available on the top-spec SX all-wheel drive. So this Honda CR-V S, however, is no slouch when it comes to safety. You still get the usual alphabet soup of letters when it comes to safety. You get your ABS with EBD, you get your stability control, you get your hill descent control and all that stuff. Now when it comes to airbags, This thing also has a lot of airbags. So you get your front and rear airbags, you get your side airbags as well as curtain airbags. So that makes your CR-V S quite a decent performer when it comes to safety features. Now the CR-V S also has this econo mode coaching feature, which honestly I haven't even engaged in this drive impression. Why? Because I'm not really a fan of the eco mode of the CR-V. It's pretty restricting. Now I'm in sport mode right now, and in sport mode the acceleration is decent, it's torquey, and it's what you could expect from a diesel engine. Now I mentioned that this is a 1.6 liter turbo diesel engine, so you'd expect that such a small displacement would have pretty dismal acceleration figures. But that's not the case with the CR-V. It accelerates well, and the gearing is quite short. So it just goes to prove, guys, that as much as engine is a factor, the transmission that's mated to that engine also plays a big role in terms of the overall performance of your vehicle. Since this is a 9-speed automatic transmission, you could expect that this would have a peppier response than if it were equipped with a CVT, which unfortunately the 5-seater CR-Vs all have. Alright, let's try an acceleration run on this uphill. As you can see, it really acquits itself well. I have full confidence that the CR-V S can do an uphill climb with a full load, so you could go on your mountain road trips without any doubts, without any concerns. When you step on the gas, especially on sport mode, this thing really likes to rev, and it's revving really well. Now that's pretty surprising, especially if you think that this is a 1.6 liter turbo diesel engine. So yeah, you have that. This baby won't have any problems in terms of the performance department. So overall, guys, in terms of driving, in terms of safety and acceleration and all that stuff, well, you won't miss out too much if you opted for this lower variant CR-V S trim versus the SX all-wheel drive. I like the fact that it's almost 100 kilos lighter than the all-wheel drive, so that really translates to a more nimble handling characteristic and better acceleration figures as well. So I love that about the CR-V S. So is the Honda CRV S Diesel 980 a better value option for you? Well, it's priced at only 1,868,000 pesos, which is a full 270,000 pesos cheaper than the range-topping CRV SX all-wheel drive. With that, it presents a strong case for value for money. Plus the fact that you get a frugal diesel engine, 7 seats, and the refinement of a compact crossover, all for the price of a base model 7-seater pickup-based SUV. Now that tells me that the CRV S Diesel 980 is a great value option for you. Once again, guys, thank you for watching one of my car reviews. If you like this review, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well. I promise you guys, I'll make it worth your while by subscribing to my channel. Once again, I'm Reagan, and I'll see you again in another video. Bye-bye.